So I'm here with Mujiba, Salaam Parker. She was formerly homeless, bankrupt, and on welfare. She's a Black author who recently paid off her 30-year mortgage in less than 3 years. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Ryan?
I'm excellent, Mujiba. Can you walk me through, the experience of being homeless and how that occurred and how you overcame that challenge?
Sure, sure. I became homeless because I decided to leave my full-time job back in 2008. And I was working on pursuing my writing career. And I had money from retirement funds. And I was using the money to promote my business. And I started to run out of money and I wasn't making enough money to sustain myself. And so I got to a point where, oh, and you know what? During that time, I was also running for mayor
Oh, wow.
for the city of Camden. And so I was spending a lot of money on that as well because I was buying posters and postcards and doing ads and all types of things. So I was spending a lot of money on promoting myself as a mayoral candidate as well as an author.
Right.
So I ran out of money eventually,
Right.
and I didn't get elected as mayor, and so I had to go on welfare because I didn't have any money. And so go ahead, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Well, no, I know, a political campaign is very expensive, and even being a writer, especially if you're self-publishing, it costs to publish your book. It costs for promotion, these are very expensive endeavors, and a lot of times the money for self-publishing, it doesn't come like a lot of people think, especially now because the market is so oversaturated. Um,
Correct.
and you end up on welfare, how devastating is that? Because you're obviously an ambitious person, trying to work hard, pursue your dreams, but you end up not having a place to live.
Yeah. Well, I was on welfare for a couple of years and I was in my home, but I was not able to pay my mortgage. And
Mhm.
so that lasted for about 2 years or so. And then I had to have a short sale for the house. And at that point, when I sold the house, I became homeless. And
Wow.
so I lived with my mother for a week and my grandmother for a week. And I was able to secure an apartment through the help of welfare, providing my security deposit and first month's rent for an apartment. And I was also able to get some work that was able to help me to be able to afford the rent. So I was homeless for 2 weeks, but it was a daunting experience to have gone through extreme poverty for a couple of years. You know, after I had been pretty successful in my career, working full time, I was in grants management. I was also um, working with funding for nonprofit organizations. So I had done well, but I wasn't happy at that last job for different reasons. And I decided, I want to move forward to really benefit myself, to feel comfortable with what I was doing. And so I went through that experience of poverty with grace because I felt like it was something that I needed to do. I didn't want to have regrets. I'll say that. I didn't want to have regrets. And so that's why I decided to do what I felt like I needed to do for my own health and mental health.
100%. I think a lot of people watching this interview can relate because, especially with millennials, they've been hit hard financially with more debt, lower net worth most of the time than their parents at the same life stage. A lot of millennials are still living with their parents longer. You talked about having to move in with your mom or your grandparents. And growing wealth for my generation has been difficult due to the drop in the housing supply over the last 15 years. which is like push prices up. Like, if you try to buy a home, like, it costs a lot more than like, my parents' generation.
Yes.
Could you talk about like, why you wrote the report and what you hope people take out of it?
Well, I wrote the report. It came to me when I was about a month before I finished paying off my mortgage, because I was so happy about it. I'm like, wow, next month I'm going to be done with my mortgage. It just really felt good even before it became official. And and then I started thinking about it. Something just said, why don't you share your experience with people? Because being the empowerment queen, I really want to empower others to do what they want to do, to pursue their dreams. And um, I've never liked being in debt. And after having gone through that experience, I had a lot of debt and it caused me to have to file for bankruptcy. And after that experience, I knew that I really didn't want to be in debt anymore.
Right,
But but I had decided to purchase my home after being in the apartment for about 4 years, because I just felt like I know what happened. The rents were going up so much every year,
right.
and it made more financial sense for me to own a home than to keep paying more for the same apartment. And so that's when I decided to buy a house again, and so after having the house, I realized again that I just really don't like having debt. And so I paid off my car first. And I was also making extra payments on my house. And I just felt like it was something that I wanted to share with other people because it really feels good. Like currently, I'm totally debt free. I don't owe anyone. And
That's
it's
so
just,
amazing. Is that how great of a feeling is that?
it's such a great feeling. It makes you feel, it takes the pressure off of having to do something that you don't want to do to make money.
Right.
It really is a good feeling. I feel free to be able to do whatever it is that I want to do to have income, and I just really recommend being debt free for other people as well.
Most definitely. Mujiba, one of the things that I was really like, excited to find out, researching for this interview, you mentioned being the empowerment queen and, being an author and your books, The Universal Attraction System, Use Your Mind to Achieve Success. I'm a big, proponent of metaphysical, like, thinking, like speaking positively, manifesting.
Yes.
Can you talk about those books and like, how you came to, write those and, your beliefs on positive thinking.
Yeah, I started writing about 25 years ago. I started writing motivational messages on, I was sending it through emails at the time, because I was on an email list that was sending Bible verses every day. And a friend of mine said, well, why don't you, instead of just forwarding that Bible verse, why don't you write something about how you take that verse. What does that mean to you? And so I started writing that to a group of people that were on my list. And then I said, one day I said, you know what, maybe I should put this all together in a book and really help empower other people because it really stems from knowing who your heavenly Father is
Right.
and knowing that he's given us the power to be a creator like he's a creator. You really have the power to determine what you want your life to be like. And so I put together that my first book was his inspiration through me, and it really focuses on the power of choice and the power of faith because those two things really impact your life. Each decision that you make is critical. Some really can, make a huge difference in your life, whether it be good or bad, depending on that choice. So the choice that you have, and then also the faith that you have, are really important factors in determining your success or setbacks. So that was my first book. I wrote another. Actually, it started out as a motivational message of audio. It was called use your mind to achieve your success. And I was talking about how you can work to achieve your goals. You know, it was a little more direct. The first book was somewhat general because it was different quotes that were talking about choice and faith and submitting to God. But the use your mind to achieve your success was when I first started to really put together my thoughts on achieving your success and knowing that you can ask God for what you want, and He will work with you to achieve your goals. You know, it depends on you asking and working with Him to receive your goals, you know, receive your dreams. So that's kind of how it all got started. Excuse me. And my latest book was use your mind to I'm sorry was the universal attraction system, how to easily attract your desires fast, because I wanted to put together a roadmap, an instruction manual, so that people could realize the steps that need to be made in order to actually receive their dreams. And I give a lot of examples. I talk about different universal laws and how you have to understand them correctly and apply them in order to receive the right outcomes. So I took my original message about use your mind to achieve your success, and I put a little more meat and examples into it to really show that it's a system and that you can achieve your dreams.
Mujiba, that's positive. Like, I support the work that you're doing. I think that's really amazing. What would be your advice, to millennials and Gen Zers who, want to buy homes, like, they're working, but like, the salary, like, isn't allowing them to?
I think if their salary is not enough, look at ways that you can have a side hustle. Think about different things that you can do to help other people. You generally have some types of skills that other people don't have, and that you're able to help them in that area so they can generate more income in that way, because we're all here to help each other. That's the reason that we're all here. And so if people really hone in on what they're good at, and if they need some more training to be better at it, to go after that as well. There's a lot of information that's free nowadays on YouTube, and doing Google searches. So it's almost no excuse not to get more equipped to be able to earn more money and use those skills to help other people. So I would say to start with that.
Mujiba Salaam Parker, the author of the Universal Attraction System, Use Your Mind to Achieve Success. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate you. Where can people follow you on social media, reach out to you?
At the Empowerment Queen on Instagram. You can go to Facebook. I'm Mujiba Salaam Parker. And let's see, I'm on YouTube as well at the Empowerment Queen. So those are the three main areas. I'm also on LinkedIn as well.
Definitely, Mujiba. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate you. You're welcome back anytime, and I can't wait to check out your books and read them. And I really appreciate you, and I'm glad like we were able to make this happen. I read about you in Black News, and I was like really inspired. And thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time and having me on your show.
Anytime.
Thank you.